Hello, everyone. This is Scott Smith. I am bringing you a late Saturday service, but a Saturday service nonetheless in the dark of the moon, just before the full moon Capricorn, and asking everyone to tune into their wisdom mind, their deep self, and ask what arises out of the magic, of the blackness of our being, because there is rich information in the deep self. There's a much longer version of this reading available for Patreon subscribers. So you have to be at the lowest level of subscription to get this Saturday service. This is the shortened version for the free YouTube. As a note on that, I'm going to be doing these a little bit less because I'm involved in three projects. One of them is a book that I am writing, and two are creative projects. One of them will go later into one of the organizations that I'm working with. And the third is an ongoing creative project. So there's a lot going on, and I just want to edit a little bit my time that I'm available. So I'm doing the Saturday services a little bit less. So I'm going to do those lunarly around the new moon, and that or that nearest Saturday to it, to sort of look at what the lunar energies are going to be, um, versus a weekly reading of things. This month, I have two bits of advice before we start. One is to remember your wisdom mind. You are not, you don't need to be swept away by what you feel or what you think. It's somewhere in between that dance of feeling and thinking is something that can arise within us all. Out of the crooked path of our being, there is a wise mind available to us, but it's somewhere between what we feel and what we think. And being the steward of our soul means that we're listening to both, but not being dragged around willy-nilly by them. Think about, I was thinking about and talking about this on the Patreon. If you want to see that, you'll have to tune in there about Vulcans and Betazoids on Star Trek. And you know, there's a lot of wisdom that comes out of the Vulcan mindset that people, I think, look at as cold and just disciplined. Yeah, I would just think about that the beauty, the logic, and the anchoring of the experience through logic, that might be very helpful as we move into the new year. So we're here at a new moon. The new moon is it's going to be in Capricorn. It's very close or aligned to the New Year celebrations. You may or may not put those things together. New moons are a great time to seed things. Dark moons are a great time to get wisdom. So that's what we're doing, is tuning into our wisdom today. What do we need to know about this new moon and the month coming forward? The first card that we pull is the Nine of Cups. This is a very fortuitous card. This can often be tune into the beauty, because out of your beautiful deepest self, out of the vision of the poetry of your soul, out of like the desire to see these things really created in the world, the motivation of the feeling behind them can be one of your greatest assets when you're doing any kind of manifesting at this time. The That represents our personality. This would be a middle self. This is who you are. This is like, what do we do as a person? It's like, make something pretty, do something beautiful, um, make something that has fullness, that's even like fluffy or frilly, like allow the embellishment and you know the doiliness of things. I just want to use that word, right? Don't be so just it's just this thing, it's when we see the Nine of Cups as a message to the personality, but in the new moon about manifesting, it says lean into the beauty, because this might be a new moon in Capricorn, but this is that kind of new moon Pisces energy, right? There's a dreamy beauty quality to it. Like, float the lotus on the water and allow your soul to wander along that way. The highest self, the inspiration that's coming through for us, what's being downloaded is to say, do something that's going to be full for yourself. This is the Six of Wands. It's a horse and rider leaping over this sort of wreath of the sunflowers. This can be courage. This is Leo and Jupiter, right? This is a very full energy, expansive energy. So this can be a message to whatever we're going to manifest this month through the impetus of beauty. Allow for it to expand you, to make you fuller, to make you bigger, to fulfill your vision or your purpose or whatever it is that you have in your life. Remember that part when you're doing the beauty. It's not just the simple, small, beautiful thing, but like there's an energy from your higher self that says there could be a little bit of a push here, right? There could be a greater motivation that you're not seeing. The lower self, this really taps into our animal nature. This taps into the dark of our being, the parts that may be running at odds sometimes with our highest self because they're less verbal and not um, operating on the same wavelength. I like to look at the lower self in my cards because I like to say, like, so what's the operating system there? What's the motivation there? What's happening there? And I pulled the Queen of Pentacles. This is really when we're talking about manifestors and a new moon in Capricorn, right? This is the manifester, right? Like she's really like, hey, like let's get some shit done. Because she's in the lower self, it can look at ancestral patterns, it can look at repeat patterns. How many times have you flipped your wig over the same thing, but just with different people? Why are you doing the same thing? How many times have you done this with your parents? How many times have you done this with your job? How many times have you done this with what's the pattern that's emerging right now? And what could you do to expand beyond that? That would be the big message on that. So if you're trying to manifest anything, don't try to fit it into the old mold, fit it in something bigger. Queen of Pentacles is saying, like, think big, right? Think larger than what it is. I like to flip the deck over to see what the card is on the bottom. This may or may not relate to what we're doing. I pulled the Eight of Pentacles. I really love this. This is the Star Tarot, by the way. It's a surprisingly amazing deck. The book is fantastic. This this has a very kind of cave painting kind of look to it. The hands are coming out of the stars. This says that there is a deep pattern at play. There is something. There's still work to be done. So don't consider like the end of the year and the beginning of new year like it's done and now on to something new, right? It's limited thinking, right? Energy doesn't erase things. That's not the way that it works, right? It informs us and helps us to change the things that we need to do. This is an indicator that there's still something in process. So you might want to look at if you're trying to make something new happen. Alongside of it, there might be some other forces at play that you need to pay attention to and consider. And that was the last piece of advice that I wanted to give on this one is that there might be things operating that you're not paying attention to because if you become so enamored, so overly focused on something, you can miss the other specs, right? There could be things at play that you're not looking at. So, my advice, I'm available for readings, but you can go to whoever you want. So I'm not trying to like soft shoe you into getting a reading with me, but I'm available. But get a reading from someone else to sort of have them look at like a full perspective of your life. Like what's going on in all sectors, and is there something that you need to be taking care of that you're not looking at? You could use astrology for that. That's often if you get a good medical astrologer or a financial planner or any of those sorts of things, just sort of see what comes up, because there could be something there that you're not seeing, and you might want to, put some energy towards whatever that is. If you're a really good reader for yourself, you can do that as well. Um, the New Year's coming. The anchoring and grounding class is available on the patreon.com/Scott K. Smith. It is there, it's hanging out. You could download it whenever you want to. It is a lecture and division explaining grounding and anchoring and the way that I do it and sort of bringing it into play. If you're a subscriber, it's there included if you're at the praxis level and above, and including the symbol that I created specifically to activate. It's like a magical symbol. It's like a Reiki symbol. Like you use it to sort of activate anchoring and grounding. All of those are available on the site. January, we have protection class. In February, we have cleansing and clearing. And in March, we have glamour busting, which is like sort of shattering illusions that might be cast, and sort of getting beyond that. That's going to be a very interesting class. I already have signups for that one. If you take them all, they will all relate. There's a method to my madness, and I'm doing them in series of 3 or 4. So they'll be quarterly, and you'll sort of get um, a roundup of useful information. I didn't do a full year because I wanted to see what sort of chaos would happen this year and what might be necessary. And just remember, it is the year of the we're moving to the lunar new year. It'll be the year of the snake, and that one goes right. It's not always a straight line. It slithers hither and thither, right? So it zigzags. So just remember, the lightning bolts can be wisdom moments this year, and that's what I got to say about that. If you want to find more information about me, you can go to starandstone.llc.com. I hope you enjoyed this photo that I took today in Monrovia of a Buddhist temple for, I think it's called Natural Buddhist Meditation Temple, something like that. Um, of the sun shining over the temple roof was quite lovely there today as I made my way to Palm Springs, where I am here for the New Year's to do my New Year's manifestation in the desert for the rising sun to sort of capture that new day, new dawn loveliness for myself. Then I'm headed back to Northern California. So if you want to catch me, you could just find me there, Star and Stone LLC. You can find me on Instagram and all of those places, or subscribe to the Patreon. In fact, if you subscribe now, you can get 20% off for the whole year. So if even if you signed up at the $5 level, you'd get that at a 20% discount. At the $10 level, the Praxis level, you'll get all the classes hanging out on Zoom for you to watch whenever you'd like. Yeah, that's what we got. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be, and thank you so much for watching. Love you.